Yeah, we've had films here over the last, really over the last 16 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
A lot of
Yeah,
films
the
have-
first documentary we made actually played her.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful time of the year, and this is such a well-curated, amazing film festival. I mean, it is so really deeply curated. You know, you'll see a film from Iran or Syria that you're never going to see again in the United States, and it'll somehow appear here out of nowhere, and it's amazing. And you know, it's a testament to the people involved in this film festival, how good it is. Honestly, it's a rarity in terms of its sort of independent spirit, and it really celebrates filmmaking and music. There's such a great tradition of music in Woodstock, but also at this film festival. And so it's a lovely opportunity to hear music and also see films.
It's also, it is a very vibrant community up here. You know, there's a real emphasis on film, on the filmmakers, on the artistry of making film. And that really stems from a deep-rooted tradition here of celebrating the artist, whether it's music or film or any other art form.
Well, I mean, I think it means, you know, filmmakers, and to a certain extent the film festival too, that takes a risk. You're not going to see big budget Hollywood movies here, and frankly you shouldn't be seeing those movies here. You know, this is the festival that you go to see independently produced film that are produced by people that are sort of free-spirited and thinking out of the box and taking risks. You know, we took enormous risks making this documentary. It was, first of all, it was our first film that we directed. It's a very unusual documentary. In essence, it fuses some elements of narrative, dramatic, feature film work with documentary filmmaking. So we took a lot of risks making that film and making it look the way that it looked. And frankly, the topic is a risky topic. You know, it's a hard topic, but it's beautifully rendered, and it's a risky film to make. And it's the kind of film festival that luckily will show a film like that. And that's, I mean, honestly, that's what you want from your film festival. You know, you don't need, you know, Transformers number 35 to open at Sundance, right? You just don't need that. And frankly, that movie should not be opening at film festivals. And it certainly would never open at a film festival like this. So this is the film festival and others like this, but this is the festival you come to see incredibly independent, you know, out of the box, beautiful filmmaking, and celebrating film as an art form, filmmaking as an art form, which is, of course, what it is. It is among the most vibrant art forms that we have at this moment in our civilization. And this is the kind of festival that celebrates that, the artistry of making film.
The film is about a woman, Linda Bishop, who lived in New Hampshire, very artistic woman. Started to manifest signs of mental illness late in life. She was ultimately confined to a psychiatric hospital in New Hampshire for up to 3 years and refused to be treated during the first 2. Eventually, she was discharged from the hospital unconditionally, and she wandered out of the hospital, was allowed to wander out of the hospital in the beginning of October several years ago. Eventually found her way through a path to an abandoned farmhouse in New Hampshire, which she broke into, and lived in that farmhouse during the coldest winter on record in New Hampshire, and lived off of apples that she collected from an apple orchard in the backyard of the farmhouse, and water that she collected from a brook that ran through the back of the property as well. And she lived there for 4 months. And the film is about her story, her tragedy, her story, the way that our society treats the mentally ill and the homeless. But it's a window into a larger issue, which is the societal issue, the societal theme of, you know, why did this woman and why do thousands of other people in our country fall through the cracks of a broken healthcare system? Our society does not help and treat these people the way they need to be treated and helped. And, you know, we are driven, and we've been driven for the last 18 years in this space, predominantly producing. This is the first, as Todd said, the first film that we've directed, but we're driven by serious, hard, socio-political issues that basically outrage us, issues where we feel there needs to be a light shined on a particular issue, and that's what drives us to make these documentaries. And this issue in particular, we find, this issue we find abhorrent. And it needs to be rectified, and we as a society need to come together to correct this.
Producing, you can, I mean, we happen to be, we feel fairly creative producers. So we've formulated ideas in the past and brought topics to different directors that we've worked with, and we are involved in the sort of idea generation phase of making films as well. So we're not really hands-off producers, but directing is another animal entirely. I mean, it really, the buck stops with you, and every element of everything is your decision at the end of the day. The way it's edited, the music, the framing, the way it's shot, I mean, the whole way the thing is put together, the title, I mean, every single thing is up to you. And so, in a way, it's sort of an exercise in obsessive compulsive disorder, you know, to a certain extent, and then you sort of turn that part of your brain off after a while and say, okay, it's finished. I mean, you never really finish, I think, a film. In certain respects, you're always thinking, well, I could go back and change this or do that or put this thing in and stuff. I don't think the producer part of you does that. The producer says, okay, it's done, move on, you know. But the director does not do that. I think the director sits back and says, oh, I could change that frame, let's do this, let's put this music in here and do that and move this around. And you're always, you know, thinking in your head. And it's a tremendous responsibility. At the same time, it's very artistically liberating, and because it's you making your vision. And it's great. I mean, it's a trip to do it. It's a trip. I recommend it. You know, it's not easy, but I recommend it. It's fun.
I mean, we've worked together for the last 18 years in this space in particular. I think that our artistic sensibilities are very similar. So decision making for the most part is fairly easy. We tend to see things the same way. You know, there's always room for artistic disagreement. But, you know, we're very close to each other. So we're able to work together, I think, very well. And, you know, this being our the first film we've directed, I mean, you know, I would not want to direct another film with anyone else. So for me, it's personally very rewarding. It's emotionally very rewarding.
No, I mean, they're good-natured fights. You know, we each of us brings something else to the table. You know, we're not duplicates of each other. So it's like two voices fighting each other to get the final vision across the finish line. I think it made the film better.